Hey guys, welcome to the farm. Video that I've been waiting quite a while to bring you. This is one that if you guys follow the channel, you'll know how important and how much of a struggle that I have went through over the years trying to find a feeder that worked for me and worked for my clients, something that I could put my trust in, that I could recommend, that I knew that performed well for me, and something that I could recommend to my clients. Guys, last year on the farm here, I came down here with a big intention of having big bulk feeders with spin casters on them that would last 60 days, and I wouldn't have to be in the farm here. And I started doing some research soon after that, because those darn spin casters and directional feeders, won't name any names, but they started plugging up and climate, whatever the case is, batteries dying. I got frustrated with them. I was in the field more messing around with my feeders than I was if I wouldn't have had the feeders there, and that's not the goal. The goal is to not have to be in there and have something that's going to stand up to the elements and is going to be there when you need that. When you need that, it's going to last. You don't have to worry about issues with it. You can, they're good size. They hold some tonnage. What I'm referring to, guys, is the product that I found last year that I brought to you on there is the log trough, or the trough feeders by Realwood Productions. Taylor and Bo have went the extra mile. They have dumped their whole heart and soul into these. There's a good family history, a good family story connected to these. I highly recommend that you guys reach out. We're going to do a product reveal today of the new log trough, and I'm going to show you a little trick here that I'm doing for this season. We're going to get this video done before the rain hits here, guys. These feeders will blow your mind as far as the performance, the difference that the different way the deer react to a feeder on the ground instead of in the air. What I think it is, guys, is those feeders are way above their heads. Them spin caster feeders are loud. Normal feeders, exactly what the guys say. They look like a feeder. Why buy a feeder that looks like a feeder? And that couldn't be more true. This feeder situation, this system that we have in place now, guys, I can tell you is I have a couple gun blinds that I can see in an early season bow set that we just hung, that I can see these from a distance. I'm not hanging my tree stands on them. Some folks can do that wherever you're around the country. I don't recommend doing that. I just cut a video on that, guys, about early season strategies. You have to be able to get away from these feeders and these food plots. I put these feeders on the food plots to back up the tonnage of my food plots. I don't put them on there to hunt over. I put them on there so if my plots fail, they eat me out of house and home, whatever the case is, those food plots are backed up with more tonnage through my feeders. So the deer, in other words, the deer patterns they don't change, right? They don't, I'm not having a food plot that I'm not hunting and then taking a feeder to my tree stand in the timber or on the edge of the timber and, having two locations, because at that point, guys, if you're hunting over the feeders, you might just as well be hunting on the food plots. But as far as a system that the deer use more, I just got the last corn here, and the last batch of corn, and filled these feeders, guys, and went back last year and started doing some studying. I am using twice the amount of feed in these feeders than I was the spin cast feeders. So why is that? One, there's more on the ground, right? There's some opportunity for some loss with coons. I've got the camera to show you guys. I got proof to show you, and I will vouch that these feeders, the coons do not eat any more corn out of these feeders on the ground than they did out of my spin casters. Because what happens is that, let's say you put 2 or 3 pounds on the ground in a spin caster, the coons eat it, your deer don't get to eat it. So to me, if it's not there because the coons ate it, what's better, having the coons share it with the deer and it's still being there so the deer can eat it, or the coons eating it out of house and home and not having anything there on the ground, right? So let's jump out of the buggy here, guys. I'm going to flip you around and welcome you to, we're going to welcome you to the new feeder here by Realwood Productions. Like I said, guys, if you can see already, the mat around. Now I went through, and this side is right here where I crimped the food plot, you know, but all around this, deer tracks everywhere. The thing that jumps out to me about these guys is they're so realistic. Why do I have two here? Going back to what I just touched on, guys, why do I have two? I elected the feeders hold. Last year they were around the, you know, I put about 200 pounds in them, and depending on your corn and where you're at in the region, maybe you can get a little bit more, right? But I had about 200 pounds in there. The new feeder, guys, is 250 pounds, very easy, so they gained 50 pounds. But the realistic look of these guys will totally shock you. The deer come out on that end of that plot, they come out here, the does come out of the doe bedding that I've got right here. They come out, and there's no dancing around the feeders, no dancing around in circles. They come right out and right to the feeder. No drama, no dancing around, no issues, no anything. I mean, it just blows your mind. So now having these for a year, guys, it blows your mind on how much more the deer actually use these and are you know, comfortable around them. So a couple of the things that have changed for this year. So they have released these. This is the new. I waited until they, you know, I got them here so I could do the product review on them for you guys, and they are ready to start shipping these feeders. Highly recommend that you reach out, because you're going to be waiting for feeders once people get these in the field and see the difference. If you're not feeding with Realwood production feeders, the log trough guys, you are missing out. So the new top, on the top you can see it's a bucket 5-gallon pail size. It spins off the top. You easily feed it now, fill it now. The trough on the bottom you can see is smaller, and haven't had any issues. Got 4.5-year-old bucks eating out of it. Why I run two is because I don't want to be in here, you know, very often filling my feeders. So I elected to go two. Now, I was getting last year in the late summer, early fall, start of the season, I was getting around about 3 weeks, 21 days, somewhere around in there, depending on the temperature. You know, it get colder, the deer started using it more. I was getting about 3 weeks off one. I've used this now a couple of weeks here, and it seems like where I'm at right now with my numbers is I have pretty much doubled. I've pretty much doubled, you know, pounds. They haven't went empty yet, but I've kind of been gauging how much they've been eating and what's in there, and double the feeder, double the days, right? So this is one of the end one, guys, in review there. The end one is last year's. That's the original log trough, and then this one here is now the new one. And so the tail in these guys is just unbelievable. You know, kudos to go out to these guys for you know, just having that blessing. You know, the good Lord has blessed them with the opportunity to have that craftsmanship on there, and or be able to put that into these feeders. I highly recommend going with a reveal. I've got the solar panel on them, tucked into the little dead old cedar over there, or the spruce, and we've been getting some you know, some great movement around this one here. I've got 3 of these locations on the farm. I've got 3 let's see, I've got 3 feed locations, 3 feed sites, 5 food plots, but only 3 of them have corn on them, and I've got double feeders on each one. Now, excuse me, this year they have come out with the tree trough. Now the tree trough, I'm going to show some pictures in here for you. We just started using that. I just got that in not too long ago, and that bolts, or not bolts, but hangs on, ratchets on the tree, and you can have your choice of using kind of a protein funnel mount that comes with it, or you can get, or you can mount any spin caster of your choice on it. I put it up the other day, guys, and my father was here, and I turned around, he's shaking his head, and I said, what? He goes, that's the most realistic thing I've ever seen. He said, that thing is sweet. So I put it up there. It was like, I don't know, 2 o'clock by the time we got it done on the leased property across the road, and hung it there. And you know, turned it on for noon, put some corn out in front of it, and by that next morning, guys, there was deer all over it. And last night was no different. So I've never had feeders that, you know, that they reacted to this quick. So like I said, guys, kind of in review here, in closing, the new log trough has just hit the market, and you know, we get all these comments all the time, right? I get all these, and I'm sure, you know, Bo and Taylor get these as well. Well, you know, that wouldn't last in Michigan. You know, that wouldn't last here. That wouldn't last there because the bears. Guys, that feeder alone is stout enough that I've got to watch what I'm doing, you know, picking it up and moving it around. You fill that thing with 250 pounds of corn, and you know, if you've got a buck on the farm that's going to roll that over, if you're worried about, you know, deer damaging it or whatever the case is, if you got a buck on the farm that's going to roll that sucker over, you know, I'd be packing some heat going to the stand. You got other problems to worry about. The bear, guys, the bear, you can hang, I'm from Michigan, you know, you can hang barrels. They're going to get to the barrels. I can honestly tell you that this deal right here, you know, other than the hogs, the hog issue, you know, I used to raise hogs, right? The hog issue is a concern because they'll gorge themselves. You know, they're not like a deer where they eat and go on and go to bed, come back. I mean, a hog will sit there and eat, empty the feeder. So in those situations, guys, I would do is like they do in any area where there's, you know, hogs. I would put, you know, a 50-foot diameter circle that's low enough that the deer can jump over it and get to the feeder. Do that with the bear too. If you're worried, run a hot fence around it. Put a solar charger next to the darn thing, and you know, zap them bear when they try to crawl over it or something. Put them in the center of it. They do it all over down south. It's a huge deal. But I'm telling you right now, I don't see yet. Maybe you know, fall will come and I'll be shocked, guys. But I've had these now over a year, and I'm telling you right now, I went through a whole fall with them last year, and I'm telling you that I do not lose any more corn to the coons than I did on the ground. And like I said, the feed that I am losing is much more outweighed, you know, by the success of having food in front of these deer all the time. They're here more often. If you have a spin caster, that thing goes off and the coons come in and eat all your corn, what good is it doing you anyway? You know, you only got, let's say they eat a pound of 2 pounds, you only got a pound. Well, that's a couple of does, and they clean it up, you know, they suck it up and they're gone. You're not going to have that problem with these feeders, guys. These are the top of the line, very, very high quality, and it's something that I feel that every you know, property that can feed, every landowner that can feed, I highly recommend using these. Keep your corn dry, stretch the life of them out, run a double if you want to, guys, here, and get a hold of Bo and Taylor, Realwood Productions. I'm telling you right now, these feeders are the ticket.